beautiful parts of our country that many people want to visit. So it has been wonderful to be here in Honolulu and in Kauai. Spent some time on Kauai before I came here. But Honolulu offers a prime example of how cities are leading and driving solutions to one of the greatest challenges of our time. I'm very grateful to all my fellow mayors for reminding us that in the face of something as big as climate change, mayors stand firm, we stand committed to protecting our environment and to bettering the lives of our people. Climate Mayors is a powerful reflection of that commitment. Since its founding in 2014, the Climate Mayors Network has grown to include 425 of my fellow mayors in 48 states, and we're working on the final 2 states. These mayors represent 71 million Americans, and together we are developing real-world and real-world solutions and best practices for addressing this issue of climate change. We know that cities are a large source of our global emissions, but we also know that we can offer practical and effective solutions, as you have heard from these mayors, to this major problem. Together, our collective actions to address climate change in each of our own communities will drive real and meaningful long-term change. This is a responsibility that I take very seriously back home in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that's why I'm proud of our progress. We're actually going to exceed our goal this summer to reduce municipal emissions 20% by the year 2020 with the thank you. We are about to complete our total upgrade to all of our streetlights will now be LED, and with that change we will exceed our goal. But like many cities, we are pushing for even bolder progress and even broader goals. And so though I am going out of office at the end of this year, as I accepted the goals by my predecessor and accelerated them, we will prepare goals, and our city council is about to adopt them, that will then be passed on to the next mayor and next council. So it's important that we continue this, that we, as I think Mayor Garcetti said, that we reach beyond our grasp. Yep. Right? And that's what we are doing here as a collective group. So Climate Mayors elevates the voices and collective leadership of mayors across the U.S. who are tackling climate change and working together to adopt, honor, and uphold the Paris Agreement goals in our own cities. Despite the lack of federal leadership, we are making it happen in our cities. So I'm grateful to be able to work with and learn from my co-chairs and all of these fellow climate mayors. If there was ever a group to take on a challenge as big as climate change, mayors are the ones to get it done, and these are prime examples of the folks right here behind me. So thank you to all of my fellow mayors and to all of you for being here to support us in these efforts. And now I will turn this back to our wonderful Mayor Caldwell.
All right. Thanks, folks. I thought we'd open up to some questions. I know we have to get back inside, but we'd like to have questions asked, and all the hard ones ask Mayor Garcetti. All the easy ones, the Mayor of Knoxville.
Thank you.
But before we do that, Mayor Benjamin. Where is Mayor Benjamin? Still here? Mayor Benjamin, if you could. Mayor Benjamin is the mayor heading up the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and he's going to be concluding his term on this U.S. Conference of Mayors. And I was there when he took the mantle. Many of us were, and his speech was as good a speech as I've ever heard in my life. I stopped breathing because of the words that were coming out of his mouth, and as he talked about his family, and we're so lucky to have him. And I'm going to be sad seeing him stepping down. But he's a great mayor, and I think he has a great future in terms of leadership in our country, whatever he does next. And we just want to thank you, Mayor Benjamin, for And then I did want to mention someone, if Stella Lee if you could just come stand for, this is Stella Lee. She's the CEO of BYD. All of you came up on electric buses provided by BYD. We have 10 of them in town. We're looking to purchase those buses through a procurement process and being part of the collaborative. And of course, we're going to be appointing 10 more after that. We have almost 600 buses that we're going to convert to all electric. But we want to thank Stella Lee and BYD for bringing the mayors up here today, and of course they're going to be taking the mayors back and forth over the next 4 days on BYD buses that are quiet and green and doing their part to make for a more resilient world. And of course, Proterra, whose bus is behind here, a beautiful blue bus, is also part of this collaborative, and we want to thank both of these companies for what they're doing in cities around our country. And in California, you've got one whole city that's using your buses, for what you're doing to help all of us. So Stella, thank you so much. With that, we'll open up to any questions. If you could raise your hand, we'll call you, and we'll pass the microphone if there is one. Go back and forth. Any questions? Yes.
1 second. Wait for the microphone.
Security? Oh, okay. Mayor, will there be any step up in security or traffic advisories during the mayor's conference?
You know, I think we're a place. It depends on how the mayors all behave. They've been behaving very well, but you know, I think we're a place of much aloha. We will have police helping us move about when we're on the BYD buses, so we don't run into traffic problems. But in terms of general security, I think we're okay. Now, I turned down security when I became mayor. I feel safe every day, everywhere I go. And I know the mayors here we welcome with much aloha. We're not concerned. Thank you. And we believe at Honolulu Police Department, one of the safest big cities in the country in terms of violent crime, and they're doing their job. Whether you see them or not, they're doing their job. Thank you. Yes?
For any of the Hawaii mayors, what are you hoping to learn from your fellow mayors to help solve some of the problems we're dealing with here in Hawaii with climate change?
So Ashley is born and raised on the island of Hawaii, so I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you for the very important question. You know, I think it's quite simple why we're all here today. One, we have an incredible debt to pay, and that debt is owed to everybody that came before us to give us what we've inherited. And really the only way to repay that debt is to make sure that we improve the quality of life for the next generation. So we're here to collaborate, to learn from each other, to not reinvent the wheel, but to see where we can find low-hanging fruit and implement those action items to create a better future. Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? Yes.
Hi. I guess for any of the Hawaii mayors, are you going to make any progress with purchasing electric vehicles for emergency services?
We're, joining this collaborative that Mayor Garcetti announced. We will be looking at purchasing all kinds of vehicles, including emergency vehicles. Our focus has been on bus because the Honolulu City Council has given us funding to purchase buses, and so that's where we're focusing right now, but we'll be looking to use it for emergency vehicles, both for police, fire, and EMS. And of course, converting our garbage trucks. We're in all our neighborhoods making a lot of noise, and that's another area where there is electric garbage trucks. Much quieter, the impact is minimal, and we're going to be focusing on that too.
Got time for a couple more?
Just on that real quick.
Yeah, yes.
We're going to be testing just for all the
Yes,
mayors
go
to know
ahead.
too. There's only one company, it's in Austria, but maybe an American company will step up too. But the first fully electric fire truck that is fully capable of addressing fires and emergency response. So we're going to be testing, bring one of those back to Los Angeles. We're going to make that part of the collaborative.
Have time for a final question before I
TV?
Do you have a number or an estimated number of total vehicles that will be purchased among this collaborative?
I'll turn that over to Mayor Garcetti.
What's the numbers this year of how many vehicles this year through the collaborative?
Purchase.
Yeah. So in this first year, we'll already have more than 1,000 vehicles purchased right now. As I said, the amount that is 114,000 just of the first group. Now that we're at 125, we're probably talking about a million vehicles that we will need to purchase. Those aren't all done in 1 year though. So I think this year it's about 1,000. We really do expect that to be exponential, not linear growth. So it might go from 1,000 to 5,000 to 25,000, especially now with school buses. That's another 500,000 vehicles. So, but this year at least 1,000.
This guy just showed up on island. Where did you come in from?
Burlington, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. I tell him he needs some sun. Mayor Walsh has more color than you do. Who do you support? The Red Sox? Patriots? Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up unless there's one last burning question,
more
but
quick
others are
one.
going to go back inside. So we have refreshments over here also for the mayors. Someone else had a question? Yes? Where? Right here. Yes. Okay, do you want to answer that? Or maybe
We hope that every American will make sure their mayor has joined climate mayors. When this administration withdrew from the Paris Climate Accords, a lot of the reason we had over 100 mayors in a day, now 425 mayors that said we'll adhere to it, was they started getting calls. I got calls from mayors saying, I've got constituents calling me about something, about cities saying yes to Paris as Trump is saying no. Can I sign it so they'll stop calling me? And I believe in it, by the way. So this is really citizen driven. This is not mayors bringing leadership from the top down. And we hope that folks who look out there, especially as we come and go as mayors, will ensure that cities stay involved with climate mayors. And our goal is to not only get those last 2 states, road trip to the Dakotas, but is also to make sure that we are going to have double, triple the number of cities in just a couple of years. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thanks everybody.
Everyone. So there's refreshments over there for mayors and others, and then we need to get back into the
We have the professional photographer too. That was on point.